Yes, in studio we do have Miss Khalifa. She is the Prosecution Counsel, Tononoka Children's Court. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
All right. So in Kenya, we do have children in conflict with. Children in conflict with the law are protected under the Children Act 2022, which prioritizes a child's best interest, dignity, and welfare through the justice process. Ms. Khalifa, when we say children in conflict with the law, what exactly do we mean?
Well, you mentioned a very important act that governs all children matters under the Kenyan law.
Yeah.
The Children Act is a very important act. So when you're talking about children in contact with the law or children in conflict with the law, these are two separate sets of children. Children in contact with the law are all children that come into contact, as it is the definition. They might be the victims, the witnesses that come to court who are children, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But when you actually talk about children in conflict with the law, again, the definition is it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So these are children who are at par with the law. The children that are now action is taken against them. They're being sued under the law. And these particular children, we call them offenders or subjects. We don't refer to them as accused persons. So maybe in simple terms, children in conflict with the law, these are in the adults forum, we might call them the accused persons.
Yeah.
But with the children context, we call them subjects, offenders, or children in conflict with the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what are some of the, if you're looking at the factors that contribute to this, what are some of the common factors that lead to children into conflict with the law in Kenya today?
Well, children are literally small adults.
Yes.
So whatever can make an adult commit a crime could as well make a child commit that particular crime.
Yes.
Right? My apologies. Well, and the biggest factor that gives rise to children committing crimes in Kenya or in our community in general would be mostly parental responsibilities, parental neglect, poverty, peer pressure, curiosity, and so on and so forth, exposure, negative exposures. And how do we deal with these issues, or how do we identify this? Under the Children Court, we usually do something known as social inquiry report. With the social inquiry report, would establish the circumstances surrounding that child, and it will establish what actually led to this child committing this particular crime.
Yeah.
And most of the time, what we find out, it's a broken family. We don't have parents committing to their responsibilities. Children are left out there without proper care or proper follow-up. You find a child, the hours that they spend with their parents is so limited to the extent that whatever happens to this child during the day, the parent literally has no idea. You might find a parent can never have a sitting with a child to just simply ask. Maybe because of our family setups, maybe it's because of the cultures that govern us. We do not have these parental-child relationships that are positive. We don't have positive parenting. We don't have children opening up. We don't have that comfort between a child and a parent. So a child could commit a crime simply because they're calling for attention, simply because they want to be seen, simply because they just want to be heard. And all these factors collectively or on isolation basis, if you isolate these problems individually or collectively, there might be reasons as to why the crime rate among children is on the rise.
So it goes back to the parent.
Yeah, it goes back to parenting and we as a community. You know, you cannot say this child belongs to a particular person. This child belongs to the community. That's why when you say a child commits a crime, the state comes in. Why does the state comes in? The state comes in so that they can actually, the crime is usually against the state, but we come back and ask who was responsible. Why do we collect community views? Why do we ask the victim? Why do we ask the witnesses what happened? Because we want all these things to be a collective responsibility. We cannot raise a child as an individual. We have to raise these children as a community, because we are saying the children are the leaders of tomorrow. the children are the future. An adult is an alumni of childhood. So if we are to reach there, if we are to walk this journey, we have to walk together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at now the parent, since we're saying that the big responsibility now falls on the parent.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that parents need to do, especially when raising their kids? What because it's here we're not talking about what they need to do as parents, but since you interact with kids and you see the crimes that are brought before you, right? What are parents missing? You've talked about communicating, listening, and communicating with them. But what are parents missing at home?
I'll reiterate my earlier sentiments. What we need, first, is commitment. It has to be intentional. Parenting has to be intentional. You can't just say, I'm parenting, when you're not being intentional. Being intentional is acting your part, doing the right things by your child. First, give them an ear. The generation that we had prior, maybe our parents, our great-grandparents, and so on and so forth, and what we have today, yes, they're the same children, but with different environments. The child that we have today is exposed to maybe the same things, but on a different magnitude, on a different platform. We didn't have internet back then.
Yeah.
Right now we have internet exposure. We have gadgets, yeah? We have so many things. What are these things leading to? We have the online child sexual exploitation offenses, the Oxia matters. They are on the rise. This is the new form of crime among children. And what else? Positive parenting. You cannot go hard on your child. These children nowadays, they'll show you something else. They say they'll show you what? Shege. Yes, they'll actually do that. Why? Because the child feels like, why are you doing this to me? Why me? Why are you telling me? Why is my colleague doing this and that? Why can't I do this? Why can't I be given a phone? But what you should do is limit, control. I'm not telling you to take away the gadget completely, but know when to introduce it. What measures should be put in place when you are actually supervise. When you go home, you've left your child the whole day. Actually inquire from that child. Learn about positive parenting. And the basic is, we as parents, we have our underlying issues that could lead to maybe stress-related issues and so on and so forth. We need to actually identify ourselves. Are we in the right state of mind? If need be, we need to actually seek help. Go for counseling. Go for group therapies. What works best for you, do it. Don't wait. Because even under the Children Act, we have offenses that are contained therein, but they are committed by adults. And who are these adults? These are adults in the community. For instance, Section 152 of the Children Act lays down two very important crimes. Parental cruelty to the child and neglect to the child. Who commits these crimes?
It's a parent.
It's the parent. So these are adults. A parent can neglect a child. And this could be a criminal offense, and as well could be a civil issue. We have, even maybe among ourselves, we might be asking ourselves, at what point would I be will I be charged under the children court? Because the imagination we have is that only children are taken there, but we have parents coming there, we have neighbors, we have adults who come there. Why? Because of cruelty to the child. So as a parent, improve your relationship with your child. Be open-minded.
And when a child commits a crime, and so they're brought to court, right?
Yeah.
Do we see a case where the parent is also held responsible?
It depends on the circumstances. No two cases are the same totally 100%. It's on a case-to-case basis. For instance, a child could have been brought to court. I have one case. Maybe it's a concluded case. Maybe I can use that example.
Please.
I had a minor, a victim, who was brought to court for the offense of defilement. And in the process of having a one-on-one interview with this particular child, I noticed something that was not tallying up with this particular child. And in the interview, it came to light that the child was undergoing very, very, very bad experiences with the mother. And these experiences, some of them was cruelty. He was being burnt by this mother for anything that he does wrong. You understand? That was the kind of punishment this child was going through. This mother would leave the house very early in the morning, leave the child behind to prepare themselves. He's a very young boy. Prepare himself so that he can leave school, close the door, and so on and so on. The normal routine that we do. Yeah. We look at it as an ordinary occurrence. But what was the underlying factor? The underlying factor was also these circumstances were leading to this child committing these particular offenses, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And to cut the story short, we had to even prefer charges to the mother for the offenses that she had committed against the child. But there are so many instances, and it all goes down to investigations. You know, if we empower our investigative agencies to do the work as it should be, holistically, conclusively, we will come up with a very good investigative results. And those are the things that will make us address these challenges adequately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Biasha.
Yes. Salim.
Wakili. Okay. Tunamzungumzia mtoto ambaye ako in conflict with
amehitalifiana na sheria.
Huyo offender. Lakini sehemu kubwa ikaja kwamba mzazi pia hapa anahusika. Ni makosa gani ambayo kwamba unaweza kaainisha ya huyu mtoto ambaye kwamba anahitilafiana na sheria ambayo kwamba yako kwa wingi huko kwenye hizo kesi zenu, kabla nije na swali la huyu mzazi?
Naomba urudi hilo swali.
Huyu watoto ni wanahitilafiana na sheria.
Naam.
Ni vitu gani ambavyo kwamba vingi watoto wanavifanya vimehitilafiana na sheria? Ukiachana na hayo umetaja defilement, right? Yeah, na hivyo vitu vingine ni vipi?
Kwa kweli Bwana Salim, makosa ya mtoto hayako ati haya ni makosa ya mtoto peke yake. Yale makosa anaofanya mtu mzima yanaweza kufanywa vile vile na nani? Na mtoto.
Okay.
Tofauti inakuwa aliyefanya ni nani? Ni mtoto na sio mtu mzima.
Okay.
Na makosa ambayo yanaletwa sana pale mahakamani inaweza kuwa wizi, kupigana,
wizi,
inaweza kuwa hiyo ubakaji, ambao unajua saa hii ziko mara mbili, si ndio? Kuna mtoto kumbaka mtoto mwenzie mke, na kuna mvulana na mvulana. Hizo ni aina mbili pia zipo. Kuna kukimbia kizuizini kule alikozuiliwa, tunaita escape from lawful custody. Yani lile kosa utakalolifikiria basi lipo pale.
Hapo huyu mtoto according to the law, huyu ambaye amehitilafiana na sheria ni mpaka umri gani?
Mtoto kwanza tujiulize, huyu mtoto tunayemzungumzia ni nani? Mtoto katika sheria za Kenya ni yule mtu yoyote ambaye yuko chini ya miaka 18. Huyo ni mtoto.
Okay.
Na mtoto anayechukuliwa sheria ni mtoto yupi? Mtoto anayechukuliwa sheria ni kuanzia miaka 12 hadi 17. Huyo ni mtoto. Kwa hivyo age of criminal responsibility, yani mtoto kuanzia 0 to 11 hatuchukui hatua. Tuna njia zingine za kukabiliana naye.
Kuanzia ngapi mpaka 12?
12 hadi 17.
12 mpaka 17 na 11 kurudi chini.
11 kurudi chini tuna njia mbadala ambayo tunatumia kando na hii ya kumletea mashtaka. Kwa sababu tunaamini mtoto wa chini ya miaka 12 ni mtoto ambaye bado hajaelewa kabisa kile ambacho anachofaa, yani kosa hajalielewa kosa vizuri. Na hata huyo miaka 12 hadi 14 bado mahakama iko na uhuru wa kuweza kumwangalia na kumtathmini yule mtoto. Je, ni mtoto ambaye anaelewa ama haelewi lile kosa alilolifanya?
So hapa kwenye 11 kurudi chini.
Naam.
Hizo njia mbadala ambazo kwamba zinatumika na huko kwa mahakama kuhakikisha kwamba anaacha kukinzana na sheria ni mbinu gani?
Ona kama hiyo tumesema chini ya miaka 12. Kuanzia 12. So tunajua kiongozi wa mashtaka.
Yes.
Mimi huyo na wenzangu katika idara ya
mahakama. Ya ofisi ya
kiongozi wa mashtaka.
Yes.
Tuna kitu tunaita charge sheet. Ile charge sheet ndo ile stakabadhi ambayo ikiwekwa sahihi na kiongozi wa mashtaka inamaanisha huyu mtu anaenda wapi? Mahakamani. Chini ya miaka 12 siwezi kuweka sahihi ile stakabadhi kwa sababu kisheria haikubaliki. Sawa. Kwa hivyo hawa watoto sana tunawaifungulia file inaitwa Care and Protection File.
Care and Protection File.
Hiyo file inakuwa inashughulikiwa na idara ya watoto. Ambayo ilikuwa ikiitwa Directorate of Children Services. Sasa hii ni State Department for Children.
Yes.
Sawa. Kwa hivyo hawa watoto wa chini ya hiyo miaka ambao nimekutajia 12, ambao ni miaka 11 kwenda chini, wanakuwa wanashughulikiwa kupitia hiyo file. Kwa sababu pale kwa children court kuna file mara 3. File hiyo ya Care Protection, file ya criminal na file ya civil. Civil ni hizo sasa ni hayo mashtaka ya baba na mama washindania mtoto atakaa na nani, nani atalipa nini, hizo ni civil. Lakini katika mambo ya makosa ya jinai tuna deal na hizo file 2 sana.
Okay. Now, kwa sababu ulikuwa umesema mtoto pia kuanzia miaka 18 kurudi teen ni mtoto, lakini ukaja ukabainisha 12 mpaka 17. Ndo anachukuliwa hatua ambazo kwamba amepatikana na hatia huyu mtoto ambaye amekinzana na sheria, umeita conflict of
amekuwa in conflict
with the law. Hatua ambazo kwamba anachukuliwa kama vile ambavyo umeeleza kwa huyu miaka 12 kurudi chini, huyu naye hatua zake zikoje? Pengine tuseme sasa amepatikana amefanya kosa.
Huyo wa chini ya 12
12 mpaka 17.
12 mpaka 17. Huyu nimekwambia katika 12 na 17 bado kuna kigawanyo kingine cha 12 hadi 14.
Ndio.
Mahakama ikisharidhika kuwa anafahamu tofauti ya kufanya kosa na consequences zake.
Yes.
Huyu mtoto huwa katika kesi za watoto. Mwisho wake hatua ama mahakama inachukua hatua gani? Mara 2. Kuna moja tunasema ni custodial sentence na moja ni non-custodial. Custodial ni gani na non-custodial ni gani? Custodial ni ile ambayo sasa mtoto tunasema anafungwa. Sawa? Lakini ushanelewa? Kufungwa haimaanishi kupelekwa gerezani. Kuna institutions za watoto specific. Tunaziita Boston Institution.
Okay.
Ambao moja hapo hapa Pwani tumepata ni Shimo la Tewa Boston Institution. So mnasikia amepelekwa Shimo sijui Boston kwa watoto. Hapo kuna nyingine Shikusa na kuna ya wasichana peko huko kama girls. Sasa huyu mtoto anaweza kupewa custodial ama non-custodial sentence, ama pia anaweza kusamehewa tu kwa ujumla na mahakama kulingana na kesi ilivyo kwenda. Non-custodial ni gani? Non-custodial ni hizi za probation. Unaambiwa amepewa kifungo cha ndani custodial, amepewa kifungo cha nje ni non-custodial. Non-custodial anakuwa chini ya uangalizi wa idara ya warekebisha tabia ambao ni Probation and Aftercare Services. Hii idara ndo ambayo inadeal na watoto ambao amepewa kifungo cha nje. Kuna mambo mingi yanayoendelea katika kifungo cha nje. Ukisikia kifungo cha nje imaanisha ametoka bure yule mtoto. Inakuwa moja sababu kuu ni kuwa familia yake ipo na imekubali kumsaidia huyu mtoto kurekebishika. Nje kuko salama, hakuko, yani unajua kuna wale watoto ambao akitoka nje kesho mtasikia amechomwa moto. Umeshaona? Ama jamii ina ghadhabu kubwa juu ya huyu mtoto. Yani haiko ready kumpatia second chance ya kubadilika huyu mtoto. Kwa hivyo mara nyingi hizo zisipotik hizo inakuwa napelekwa kwenye custodial sentence ambao ndo uko Boston ama kuna hostels kulingana na yale makosa yalivyo na zile mbinu ambazo zinaweza kuwekwa mikakati katika njia ya kuweza kumsaidia ili aweze kubadilika, kwa sababu malengo ya mahakama si kuadhibu bali ni kurekebisha na kuongoza, kwa sababu kosa lazima libadilike. Na mtoto ndo maana anaitwa mtoto, ni kwa kuwa haelewi kikamilifu zile consequences za lile jambo alilofanya, na ni lazima tumbadilishe. Ikiwa Mungu atajalia badilika, atabadilika kabla hajafika miaka 18. Ndio hiyo sasa lazima tunagawanya mara mbili, kwa sababu sheria inasema kufunga mtoto ama kumpeleka huko kwa Boston ni jambo la mwisho kabisa. La mwisho kabisa, yani isiwe tu haraka haraka si tunakimbilia kumfunga, kwa sababu umetangulia kusema ni best interest of the child. Ni jambo gani ambalo ni zuri zaidi kwa huyu mtoto litakalomsaidia. Yani ukifanya uamuzi, usifanye uamuzi kwa kuangalia watu wengine, unamwangalia yule mtoto. Ni jambo gani ambalo likifanywa kwa huyu mtoto litamsaidia ama lina maslahi mazuri zaidi kwake. Sio tu kuamua kurupuka. Kama ni hivyo sote tungeenda katika mahakama za watu wazima.
All right. We are speaking to Miss Khalifa. She's a prosecution counsel at Tononoka Children's Court. We're looking at why we're seeing a rise in cases. What gives a rise to children in conflict with the law? Do you have any question for her? 0700917917. We will be right back. And we're looking at why we're seeing a rise in cases when it comes to children. What gives a rise to children in conflict with the law? Ms. Khalifa, you spoke about cruelty, right? When it comes to parenting. Can we break that down? What does cruelty look like from a parent to a child? Because as again, a parent might say, I'm disciplining this child, right? But where do we draw the line between discipline and just being a cruel parent that could actually land you in trouble?
Very interesting, yeah?
Yeah.
Because most of us, where we come from, spare the rod
and spoil the child.
Spoil the child.
Yeah.
So we believe the rod has to straighten up this particular child. But to what extent are you using that particular rod? Corporal punishment is a crime in Kenya. It's been abolished long before, right? And under the Children Act, it doesn't support all that. And cruelty could range even to just that beating. To what extent? Would I just come and complain because you literally did this to a child? No. It's the magnitude, the gravity of that beating that would determine this particular cruelty. Anything that causes injury to this child is cruelty. It causes discomfort to this child. It's cruelty. And cruelty could range from a soft tissue injury to grievous harm. And most of the cruelty cases that we have at the Children's Court, most of them are very severe. From parent banning a child for very, very simple reason. Could be stroking this child, could be pushing him to the wall, could be anything.
Yeah.
Whatever you imagine that would cause an injury to the child, cause them psychological trauma and discomfort, all that would fall under cruelty to a child. So as a parent, that's why I said first have your own state of mind in check, because all these underlying factors that come into a parent committing an act of cruelty, it's not just a parent, could be me, could be you, as long as you're doing it to a child, that's cruelty to a child. So you have to be very careful.
And so you're saying it's underlying factors, meaning if I grew up in an environment where violence was, was the order of the day, and I saw my mom bang my brother's head on the wall, it was the order of the day, unarushiwa mawe, kuna wengine wanachomwa. And so I feel like, this is the order of the day, so I'm doing this, I'm raising my child in the same way. Niliona, right?
So you are perpetuating it to
So I'm
others.
doing that. So pretty much what you're saying, as a parent, first of all, we need to go for therapy.
Yes,
or we need to work on our issues.
Whatever works for you, please do it, but not alcoholism. Please do it, but not drug abuse. Do it positively. Do it to help you and to help your relationship with the child.
Who reports these parents? Because I'm saying that because there are instances you're honestly seeing a parent, you're in a neighborhood. And in this neighborhood, I'm seeing Salim be very mean to the child, frustrating his kids. Anawachoma, anarushia mawe, anapiga kelele kila siku.
Am I indirectly reporting Salim?
Ni kama she is.
An example. I'm using him as an example. So if I'm seeing all this happening, and maybe I've tried to intervene, or as a society, we've also got into a space where mind your own business.
Yeah.
who is reporting this parent? Who should report this parent who's being mean to their child?
Anybody can report.
Eh,
It's your sole responsibility as a community member, as a citizen of Kenya. I earlier on stated that bringing up or raising a child is a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
but it's
So
stopped.
could be mzee wa mtaa, could be the neighbor. Most of them, the whistleblowers are the neighbors.
Ah, good.
Could be the, what are these called? The sungu, the community
Oh,
policies.
community police.
Yes. We have fellow children
Mm.
just going round to mama nani. You see, if nani, mamake anampiga hivi na hivi. So that particular neighbor would pick it up, maybe to mzee wa mtaa. Because most of the people wako na uoga. They're saying, if I report this, I'll have to go to court to testify. And I don't want to testify. So I'd rather go and tell mzee wa mtaa will not be afraid.
Yeah.
They'll follow up. So the responsibility rests upon all of us.
In an instance where you report, and so we report, and again, we're using Salim as an example. He's the parent, Ashakwa reported. What happens to the child? Does the child still go back home to be with this same parent who's abusive? Now the parent has been reported. Or do we find a different home for this child?
Well, in such very serious cases,
Yes.
the first thing that happens, you rescue the child.
Okay.
What is rescue? Rescue is removing this child from that particular environment to a safer environment. And this is effected through reporting to the Directorate of Children's Services that I earlier on stated, that has changed its name to the State Department of Children Welfare. So first thing first, when you go and report at the police station, any matter that pertains a child, the first person to be alerted is the children officer. Because the children officer has the mandate in all matters pertaining the welfare of the child. And this is the person who will secure that rescue center, that home that this particular child is supposed to be placed temporarily, pending resolving these other issues. May it be in court or in any other method.
Yeah.
So the first thing, we will not re-traumatize this child. You cannot take a child from a very toxic environment. Before you've dealt with that environment, you return this particular child to that same place.
Yeah.
It's not working.
And then, okay.
Yeah. So we really have to emphasize that a children officer has to come into the picture.
All right.
Yeah.
And what does neglect look like?
It looks exactly as you just stated. It's neglect.
Okay.
When you talk about neglect, what comes to your mind? Abandonment. You don't want to own up to your responsibilities. That's neglect. Or you've left, but this is neglect to a child.
Yes, yes.
So this is a child who has been left with no care, who has been exposed and has become a child of need, and is a child of need of care and protection. A child who is in need of care and protection is a child who's been neglected, a child who is crying for help. Simple example, tunataka kwenda ku Paris, ndio? I have a 2-year-old at home, a 1-year-old. I lock this child in the house.
That's neglect.
Nimeenda wapi?
Gone out
Paris.
to
Sherehe,
hang out
sindio?
with your friends, yeah.
Yeah. You forgot that you have a child in the house. Maybe 2 days passed, then you remember. It happens. You remember you left a child in the house. Or neighbors have been just observing your pattern, your routines. Wewe kila saa 12 you've left the house, you don't come back until tomorrow at 6 again. In the morning. The child has been neglected. The child is in the house all alone. The child maybe no food, nothing. And again, I stated that the neglect of a child could be criminal or could be civil. Even that parent who has duties and obligations to cater for this child and fails to do that,
Hiyo
ni hatia.
ni
That's
neglect.
Neglect, yes.
And
You will be charged before court for neglect. In the alternative, you'll be taken up for civil suit in respect to custody and maintenance. So, ladies out there and men out there, you have the weapons in your hands. We all need to be accountable. So that man or that lady who has neglected their duties, kuna watu, for lack of a better word, they'd sire kids everywhere,
Yeah.
but they won't want to take up their responsibilities.
Wako wengi.
Yes, if you have an issue with that, you can literally ask for DNA. There are so many avenues that the law has
Unaangalia kando.
Salim, are you a victim?
I'm just-
Are you a perpetrator?
I
we
mean-
should investigate this.
I am I'm very listening.
Please ask him if he's okay.
Salim, are you okay?
No, I am very okay. Just keenly listening.
Yes.
When
So we are
Have you sired-
we should come for those people. You should not
Yeah.
neglect a child.
Oh,
It's these neglects that give rise to these crimes.
okay.
A child who has no parental figure in their in their lives, what do you
Well,
expect from
yeah.
this
Oh,
child?
parental figure, what do you mean?
Parental figure, I mean that mother or that father who has failed to take up their part in that children's life.
So mmoja akiwa parental figure iko.
Okay. Salim, I can see
I
where
am
you're heading.
just nini. I am
Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Nimeuliza.
Endelea kuuliza.
Tupe ile hypothetical scenario
Yes.
yako kidogo.
Yes. Yes, please.
Eh.
Hypothetically speaking.
Unajua hapa niko na ODPP
Sema.
Kenya. Hypothetical sio word.
That one.
Yes. Father figure. I mean figure. Parental figure.
Father figure. Sema tu
Parental
father
figure.
With the responsibilities,
With
not
the-
just a figure. That
yes.
figure should
Parental
take up their
figure.
responsibilities.
Yeah, you see, mama akiwa, that is parental figure. There is no problem. Mama, this figure has.
And that father, is he doing his duties as enshrined
Na
in
si
the
mama
Constitution?
yuko.
And so the
No.
mother should do it alone while you abandon them.
Mara ni kama
Parental responsibility under the Children Act is 50-50.
50-50.
50-50 will depend with what you put on the table.
Yeah.
How you will say this is 50, this is 50. So Salim, tuko na wangapi huko nje wanakuja na suits sasa?
Wa nini? Huko nje. Wako ambao mama zao wanajiweza. Wako
Kwa
sawa.
hivyo tunamtafuta Salim Swahili Potoko.
Hapa. Sio mimi, si mimi. I'm
No,
just
si
talking
wewe.
on behalf.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking,
Tunapenda
Salim.
example ya rafiki yetu.
Eh,
Wacha tuseme sasa.
I'm talking on
yetu.
behalf of a friend.
Yes, on behalf of our friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on behalf of our friend, this friend who has 12 children,
Yes.
right? These 12 kids, each of them kuna mzazi, si ndio? Lakini this man is not present. Because according to what Salim has said, according to our friend,
Wanajiweza.
the mothers are there.
They are very strong.
Is this man
Very stable.
being neglectful?
Yes. That's
If the mother
question.
would come for that, yes, they are neglectful. What duties are they doing for this child? If this child will be left to be in need of care and protection, definitely they are responsible.
Hapo napo sasa mmepita
The
mipaka
key word,
ya hizi
yes.
sheria.
In need of care and protection. This child maybe has no shelter. This child maybe has no food.
Ndio.
This child has no basic need, education.
Yes.
And you're just there. Saying the mother is, what has made you judge that the mother is capable? And what are your responsibilities?
Because-
It's a very
Again, I
good
said
question.
parental responsibility
Parental.
are 50.
A 50-50. And it does
50.
not mean it's one parent.
It doesn't mean it's one parent.
Nah.
As long as you exist,
Yes.
you are supposed to contribute to the welfare of this child. Unless this other parent has just decided they're doing it alone. You know, these things don't need, they should not all be subjected to court.
Okay.
Again, we have the Directorate of Children's Service. Parents are sat down. You come up with an agreement, parental responsibility agreement. You all agree what are your responsibilities to this child. In the event one defaults, what happens?
Yeah.
We have mediation. We have court annexed mediation. If I'm to initiate a suit or institute a suit in court, then we just decide, let us just agree.
Yeah.
Then have it adopted as an order of this honorable court. It's agreeable. But we're not talking about that particular person. In this instance, we are talking about someone who has willingly neglected their duties.
Huyo ameamua.
You know you have a child somewhere who is in need of basic needs.
Na hapati.
But you decide to expose this child to be in need of care and protection.
Yeah.
No,
Utakujiwa.
Yes,
Utakujiwa.
we'll have to actually make you accountable.
In the
Tunakuwajibisha so that you can do your part accordingly.
In the scenario that
Tell
tumekubaliana.
me why are you basing so much on these scenarios?
I need answers. It could be somewhere close to here. In this scenario umesema tumekuja it doesn't have to go to court, right? Tumekuja tumekaa tumekubaliana kwamba mama ameamua ata take care of that, hizo vitu zote. Yangu mimi ni kuja kuona mtoto kama anaendelea poa, nimchukue niende tupige rounds nikimrudisha. Nikikosa
Salim, today I'm here to talk about the criminal element of it.
Okay.
That one will have to come back and talk about it, the civil element of it.
Yes, we
So
will.
this in criminal aspect, if you cause this child to be in need of care and protection, it is a criminal offense.
Ni criminal.
Yes.
All right. Khalifa, let's look at diversion now.
Yes.
So the law emphasizes diversion, right?
Yes.
And rehabilitation of a punishment. Let's talk about how diversion is implemented. How does diversion work when it comes to children in conflict with the law?
Okay, diversion, it's some say it's relevantly a new term.
Okay.
It's really not new per se. It's been there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we need to create more awareness around diversion and how how it is implemented in courts and out of court.
Mm-hmm.
As the ODPP, we have guidelines on diversion. The Children Act has express provisions on diversion. And so when you sit and ask yourself, what is diversion? Diversion, in simple layman terms, we say ninjia mbadala. It is an alternate, not really an alternate, it's the court process. You follow the normal court processes that we do. With diversion, you don't go down that lane. You look for, let's say, simple terms, an alternative to court processes, to court litigation processes. So with diversion, there are several aspects that have to be considered when it comes to children in conflict with the law. One, you have to own up to the mistake.
Okay.
You have to say, I committed this crime, and you have to be remorseful. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen again. But you can't say, yes, nimefanya, so mutadu. That's not the attitude that we have with diversion. So first thing first, own up, be remorseful. You have to be a first-time offender or a second-time offender. You can't be a repeat offender.
Yeah.
Then you come and say, I want to be a beneficiary of diversion. It doesn't happen that way. And on our end, diversion is it's initiated by the ODPP, because it can take place at the initial stage before approving a charge sheet. Before the decision, we call it the decision to charge. The decision to charge is when I look at the file and the proposed charges and I say the threshold has been met. But does it serve the best interest of the state to prosecute this person? If yes, then yes. If no, why? Maybe first-time offender. We need to decongest prison. The gravity of the offense. Is it a petty offense? At times someone could be charged with kuiba shilingi 100, shilingi 200. You see?
Yeah.
Do I have to go through the litigious process, blah, blah, blah? No. This person can qualify to be a candidate of diversion.
Yeah.
Diversion also fosters good relations. You see, when we have to fight in court every day, and it's something that is so, maybe not small per se, it's something that can be put on the table, we agree on something and move forward. That is something. And with diversion, it doesn't necessarily just end there. With children in conflict with the law, when we look at the matter and we say, actually, the Children Act advocates for all matters first to go through
Diversion.
Yes,
Okay.
we see whether diversion can work or not. And how do we do it? We call for a preliminary inquiry report or a social inquiry report. This is before plea is taken. We usually say, let us get the report to establish the circumstances surrounding this particular offense and this particular child.
Okay.
Are the circumstances going to reveal that the report is favorable or not favorable? If the report is favorable, it means there is a good support out there. The victim is the victim is open-minded to the diversion, and the offender or the child in conflict with the law has owned up to their mistake, is ready to change. There are certain mitigating factors that have been put in place. Then we said that the report is favorable, and I, as the ODPP, come up with an agreement. It's called the diversion agreement, where I put down all the conditions that she's supposed to adhere to. Could be from 6 months to 3 years.
Okay.
Then it doesn't end there. After we've signed, there's usually the diversion officer who is going to take charge and look at that diversion agreement and make sure that you report to the relevant office during the period that have been stipulated. And most of the times the diversion officer is usually the probation officer. So there's follow-up up until the period ends, and that diversion agreement is adopted as an order of the court, and the matter is usually withdrawn from court. And if you default, the matter comes back to court, and the matter proceeds as if the diversion agreement was never in place at the first time because you defaulted.
All right. There's a question here from one of our listeners. Ma, good morning. Good to hear from you. Ma says, does Kenyan law recognize emancipation of minors? And if not, how do courts handle cases where a child wants independence from their parents? For example, in custody, guardianship, or making their own decisions. Question number 2, in cases where parents are neglectful or irresponsible in their duties, can a minor in Kenya seek emancipation or a similar legal remedy to gain independence from such parents? And what grounds would a children's court consider in making that decision? As you're thinking about that, let's go back to the news. We'll be right back. For responding to Ma's question, and he said, does Kenyan law recognize emancipation of minors? And if not, how do courts handle cases where a child wants independence from their parents, for example, in custody, guardianship, or making their own decisions? Do our law support that?
Well, the term emancipation,
Yes.
under the legal context, the legal framework in our country, we don't have such terminologies. Because basically a child cannot opt out from parental.
I cannot opt
care.
out of my parents? Like, if
don't-
they're mean...
That's why we have laws
Yeah.
actually asking parents to own up their parental responsibilities. The only way we can address this is the courts intervene where, let's say, there's a child who has been abandoned,
Yes.
a child who's been neglected, and it only acts in the best interest of this minor, and it's not necessarily emancipation. It's in the aspect of guardianship, adoption, alternative care reform systems, in such ways. But as a child under Kenyan law, you can say, I want to opt out of my parents' responsibility and so on and so forth. No. And because any person below the age of 18 has to be under parental
Care. Yeah.
Yes. So
meaning the courts can provide an option.
guardianship,
Yes.
alternative care reforms right now, that's what's been advocated for. We have the kafala and so on and so forth, the adoption. Because right now we are moving away from institutions.
Yes.
So we are going to alternative care systems.
Okay.
So that is how the courts come in.
So if a
But-
child were to prove that their parents, the parents are neglectful, the parents are causing them harm, then there's room for still you can still be moved from that
Yeah,
family.
but we won't say emancipation. We
Okay.
will use these alternative methods.
Yeah.
Yes, in the best interest of this child, not
Okay.
in any other way.
All right then. Thank you so much, Miss Khalifa. What's your parting shot as we wrap up today?
Well, my parting shot is a child cannot be raised by an individual.
Yeah.
We all have to come together and work towards raising this child, because it's only from our collective responsibility towards this child that we will bring down the rate of crime, the rate of any other issues that pertain to children, it can only be bettered when we work collectively, intentionally. We have to be intentional in all our forums.
All right.
So karibuni sana.
Yeah.
Tononoka Children's Court, we have a court users committee. And I'm the secretary of that particular committee. In case of any support to support our community sensitization programs or any other forums, we are open to any other talk show that would come up. We are open to all those support in any organization that support matters pertaining to children.
Okay.
So karibuni sana, under the leadership of Honorable Nelly Chepchirchir, who is also the head of station at that particular place.
I like that. Thank you so much. Thank you for making time. And yeah, that's it from us. And also from Miss Khalifa Usheskia. Take responsibility.
Is there nini?
Take responsibility.
Compounded.
Be responsible for your own,
For
the kids that you have sired out there. Take
Amesema ni
responsibility.
majukumu ya jamii. Mtoto ni wetu sote.
Mtoto ni wako.
Wetu sote.
Salim,
Una
you're
tena
misquoting her. And she's right
si ni
here.
wetu sote.
Oh, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to look at matters land in Mombasa. This has been a big issue. It still is a big issue. We want to understand why is it an issue. Good morning.